Welcome to Power Up with NSA North Texas, a show about finding, hearing, and maximizing valuable insights from some of the world's leading business and lifestyle speakers. Each week, international keynote speaker and National Speakers Association North Texas Chapter President Betty Coffey sits down with some of the most exciting speakers this side of the globe to hear from these subject matter experts what's making a difference in business today and learn all there is to know about people, profits, and productivity in business from some of the world's best motivators. This is Power Up with NSA North Texas. And now, here's your host, Betty Coffey.
Hi everyone, I'm your host today, Betty Coffey, President of National Speakers Association, North Texas Chapter, and I want to welcome you to our NSA North Texas show. The NSA, National Speakers Association, is the premier organization for professional speakers. Our members reach audiences as thought leaders, authors, consultants, coaches, trainers, educators, humorists, motivators, and we do it every day around the globe. This show is going to give you an idea of some of the cutting-edge topics, some of the issues, some of the messages that companies want you to know about, that companies want to bring into their organizations and have their employees understand better. And you're going to hear some of the solutions from our own subject matter experts, our members at National Speakers Association North Texas. They're the subject matter experts. So I'm so excited today to have as my guest Donna Mack. And she's going to be talking about the perceptions of disability and making disabilities relatable. Donna is right here with her service dog, Wella, who's down by my feet. It's the first time I've ever had a show. Oh, there's Donna. She's on the screen. It's the very first time I've ever had a guest on the floor. That's so much fun. And for those of you that are only listening, that are not watching, just so you're aware, Donna is visually impaired. So Wella is her service dog, and I really believe that she's going to take over the camera today. I really am. So 2 years ago, 1 in 5 Americans had some form of disability. 2 years ago, one in 5 Americans had some form of disability. Today, it's 1 in 4, and in a decade, it's projected to be 1 in 3. It's time to change our perceptions of disability, and the time is now. My special guest is Donna Mack. I am absolutely thrilled to have her on the show. She's also known as the disability diplomat. She's a keynote speaker, a trainer, a consultant, and she uses her own life story to urge clients and audiences to take a fresh look, I love that, a fresh look, at the challenges in their own lives and celebrate the blessings of life's obstacles. And I love that too. Celebrate life's obstacles. A little bit of background on Donna. A few months before her 12th birthday, Donna was suddenly faced with vision loss due to a retinal detachment. Today, her work as a speaker, consultant, and trainer enables her to help audiences set aside their preconceptions about disabilities, not just because it's the right thing to do, which we all seem to do. We all want to do the right thing to do. But because failing to do so could cost organizations today, get a load of this, 20 to 30% in lost sales. Interesting perspective. Donna holds a Master's of Education degree from the University of North Texas. Yay! She has been quoted in both Forbes and Monster.com. She chairs the Arlington, Texas Mayor's Committee on People with Disabilities. She serves on the American with Disability Act, ADA, Accessibility Committee for Texas Rangers Globe Life Field, which is scheduled to open in 2020. That's our new baseball field. Love it. Donna is also very active in our NSA North Texas chapter, where she serves as our Disability Access Ambassador. Very, very proud of her for doing that. Donna loves God. She loves people. She loves parties. I can attest to that. She's never short of being shy from getting up and doing karaoke. She loves dark chocolate, long walks, and loves to snuggle with her black lab down here at our feet named Wella. I'm so excited about today's show. So, Miss Donna, welcome to our show. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thanks, Betty.
I want you to tell our audience about you. I want you to tell them about your disability how this happened, how your disability impacted your education, and how it impacted your social life, and how it has brought you to such an important role in today's business and in life. You're on.
Okay. I was born 2.5 months premature. At birth, I weighed less than 3 pounds. I was given a 2.5% chance to survive. And if I survived for 24 hours, the doctor said they would increase that to a 10% chance. For each additional 24 hours that I lived, they bumped it up by another 10%. At the age of about 3 months, a renowned pediatric neurologist told my parents that I was totally blind and a vegetable, and that they needed to keep their expectations pretty low, that I might be able to speak a few words, might be able to take a few steps, but would never live independently.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's how it started. Wow.
When I was 3, there were other experts that encouraged my parents to send me to a state school for the blind and visually impaired, and my mother said, no, I think she can get a better education at home.
Good for mom.
Yeah, good for mom. So I had a public school education before it was mandated to do so. As far as my school life, I had what I call functional vision. I was still considered legally blind, but I could read newsprint, I could ride a bike, I could do most things that kids my age could do. I was really terrible with anything that required any kind of depth perception, like baseball and tennis. Or
golf.
Yeah, I really was not very good at that.
Right.
But I considered myself to have a fairly normal life for the most part, until I was almost 12. And due to my premature birth, I had a condition called retinopathy of prematurity, which wasn't diagnosed until I started losing vision at the age of 11. And at that time, I learned Braille real quickly. I had teachers who would come to my classroom a few times a week, and if I needed something brailled or recorded or made accessible to me, they would do that. That wasn't an all-day thing. Again, I was in mainstream classrooms like all the other kids. What was interesting is that I think in elementary school, I really felt like an outsider. And when my vision decreased in junior high and high school, I was kind of an anomaly, maybe a little bit of a novelty. And so it was kind of, everybody was curious about how I did things. And I learned very quickly, as my vision failed, I found that there were people who had previously been very familiar to me. And suddenly, because I couldn't see them anymore, they were very uncomfortable talking to me. And at that point, I decided if I wanted to have any kind of life, I needed to set aside some of my adolescent self-consciousness and go for it, to be the person who would initiate conversations, in social settings, because the average person for the most part, you don't encounter people with significant disabilities. They're going to
feel awkward.
They are going to feel awkward.
They're going to feel funny. They're going to feel awkward.
And it was up to me.
Sure what to do.
Right. And it was up to me to bridge that gap, and make them feel comfortable, or I would never have the quality of life that I wanted.
Good for you.
So,
boy, from even a little kid, you had whatever it is inside of us that makes us go on and achieve, and not. You had a choice at a very young age to let this get to you and affect you the rest of your life, or to move on and grab life as much as you can and achieve just as much as others. I love that.
Thank you. Well, part of that's due to my mom. She was a drill sergeant.
Good for Mom.
I would have put her up against, any military DI ever.
That's awesome. So what is a disability? When we hear about disabilities, we're always, I know that I'm self-conscious. Okay, I don't want to say blind. I don't want to say deaf. I don't want to insult somebody. But sometimes I'm just naive or stupid as far as how to approach something. So talk to me. What is a disability?
A disability is a condition that substantially limits a person's ability to engage in one or more major life activities, like seeing, walking, standing, focusing.
Okay.
Those
All
kinds
right.
of things.
Okay. And then when we talk about so much, what's a disability accommodation?
A disability accommodation is, it's either, disability accommodations either come in the form of assistance, or they come in the form of a change to a policy, procedure, or maybe even a physical environment that makes it possible for someone with a disability to participate in or conduct business in a manner, that's similar to what somebody who's able-bodied would be able to do. So for example, an example of assistance might be, it could be,
the ramps. We've always seen the ramps.
Well, no, that's more, okay. An example of assistance would be, for example, if I go to a restaurant, their menu's not available online, they don't have a Braille menu, so I ask a server if they would please read the menu. Maybe I say, hey, I'm in the mood for chicken. What are your chicken dishes?
Okay.
That kind of thing. Okay. An example of a policy would be, for example, someone who is maybe undergoing some sort of treatment, maybe cancer treatment, an employee, and their employer would accommodate their therapy schedule so that maybe they can make up lost time during their lunch hour or something like that. An example of
So accommodations is a broad range.
Right, and when you were talking about a ramp, that's a change to the physical environment.
Okay, I gotcha. So when we talk about business today, are there real or are there real or imagined barriers to businesses providing disability accommodations for their patrons or their employees?
There are both. I think that the biggest misconception is that I think that a lot of businesses out there assume that if they have to make their place of business accessible, that it means it's going to cost a lot of money. And as far as employers are concerned, actually workplace accommodations, the bulk of them are free or very, very low cost. Something like, it's a ridiculous amount. It's a ridiculous percentage. It's maybe even over 90% cost less than $500. Again, most of them are free. And for the ones that are more expensive, there are a lot of tax incentives. There are tax incentives that are available to businesses that meet certain criteria, some to businesses who are actually employing qualified applicants with disabilities, some to businesses that just want to make their facilities more accessible. Right. And I would encourage business owners to contact their tax professional to see if any of those tax incentives might apply to them.
So there are low-cost measures and actions that people can take.
Absolutely.
To accommodate disabilities and not break the bank, but at the same time help their clients or help their employees.
Absolutely.
I love that. And that's who they contact? Is that who they contact to find out more about that?
For tax incentives, I would say, contact your tax professional.
Never thought of that. Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So talk to me here. How does having a disability impact you as a consumer? And what steps can a business make to make it more attractive to people with disabilities? I've watched you. Let me go back to this. I've watched you, Donna, at our meetings and at our special events and our functions. And I am continually amazed with your ability to just fit in, if you will. I'm continually amazed at how you find, as an example, a restroom down the hall, to the right, to the left, and over to the right again. It's amazing to me how that happens. And I just admire you so much for what you've accomplished. What steps can businesses and people take to attract more customers that have disabilities?
Well, first of all, I would say, most of it's going to be just attitude and an openness to realize that disability is going to eventually touch your life or the life of somebody that you love.
Right.
So there's that awareness. There's also, you know, for me as a consumer, oh my gosh, I do a lot of shopping online, and more able-bodied people are shopping more online these days. Amazon absolutely leads the way in so much as they've got a customer service line specific to customers with disabilities.
Oh, that's great. I never knew that.
Yeah, they do. And Apple, all of their accessibility features are built into their products off the shelf. So my phone talks. And if you have an iPhone, I could make your phone talk. You just have to know how to go about it. So, I mean, there are some companies that are absolutely leading the way. And another thing that like Toyota and Nike especially have done lately is to highlight people with disabilities in your ads. Like right now,
good point.
I have young adult children. I have no, you know, little kids in my life. And honestly, ads that are geared at people under 18, I don't typically pay a whole lot of attention to at this season in my life. But as people with disabilities, I mean, if we see people like us on an ad, we're going to be a whole lot more prone to buy from you. And make your websites accessible to people with disabilities. See if you can navigate your own business's website without a mouse.
Wow.
Try to think of the customer experience from the time they look you up on the web to coming to your place of business, to park if you're in a brick and mortar, to what kinds of customer service can you provide, to are your restrooms accessible. Try to think of those kinds of, put yourself in our shoes. And so
I can understand that. And I love the way you just said, put yourself in our shoes. What is a common misconception that able-bodied public has about people with disabilities? What's a common mistake that able-bodied people make when they're interacting with a person with a disability?
They think we're going to break.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
It's just like what you said. You know, people don't want to offend. They, you know, they really are trying. They don't want to offend. They don't know how to approach. And guess what? It may be the first time you've dealt with one of us, if you will. And I'm not trying to have an us and them mentality, but it's probably not the first time one of us has dealt with one of you.
That's I get it. I understand
You know,
what you're saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
and approaches. We have the same kind of feelings that you do. We get it that you may not know how to approach, and just because we can't see, hear, or walk, doesn't mean you can't use words like see, hear, and walk with us. It's not a big deal. And if you're uncomfortable, you don't know whether to offer assistance, just say, hey, I don't want to insult you, but if you need some help, you know, please let me know. I'm more than happy to offer assistance, or I'd like to offer assistance, but I don't know how, and I don't want to be awkward. I mean, just be transparent. Just be who you are, and
you appreciate, and people with disabilities appreciate that, and you're more than welcome to
absolutely
communicate with us and tell us what to do.
Absolutely.
You're so right, because I remember I went to a convention with you a few years ago down in Austin, okay? And we were staying at the same hotel. You remember? Down in Austin?
I do.
And I wasn't sure. You know, you knew which way. I kind of babied you. And it was like, Betty, stop babying
Yeah,
me.
at some point.
Just act normal
Yeah.
and go down the hall, or let's go here or go there. And it was like, okay. And that relieved me a little bit to know that I wasn't screwing anything up. But at the same time, people are awkward, and we need to know this. And we just need to say, tell me what. And I get to the point now, Miss Donna, when you and I are going out or doing something, it's what do you want me to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
And direct me. Me. I love that. Donna, you are a very well-known speaker in this area. You are a trainer. You are a consultant. When people want to work with you, tell them what you can do for them and some of the ways that you've worked with others in the past, and how they can reach out and utilize you. Because your services are not only you smart, intelligent, and wonderful, and disabled, but you also are educated and knowledgeable and motivational in this area too. So Tell me what people can expect. Tell our audience what they can expect in working with you.
I would say expect somebody who really doesn't pull a whole lot of punches.
It's true. That's not our Donna.
You know, I would hope that you would expect to have somebody who is relatable. There may be times that I come off as less formal than some people might, but hey, I'm covering an uncomfortable topic, and it needs to be, I'm trying to make it as approachable and relatable as possible. So I am not a real uptight person. I kind of say what's on my mind. As far as, you know, you might have a keynote where I do tell a little bit of my own story, because I think that it's important to understand where we've been to get where we are now.
Right.
But I will also tell you, I'm not somebody with a disability who has climbed Mount Everest. I don't have Paralympic medals. I'm a consumer. I am, you know, I'm a parent. I'm a friend. And, you know, that's kind of my place. And as far as training goes, same kind of thing. I want to have a chance to look at your organization. Let's see what we can do to make it more accessible. Let's see the most cost-effective way that you can attract consumers with disabilities, because by investing in disability access, we're investing in our own futures.
Yes, yes. I love that. And you have spoken, give me some examples of some of the organizations you've spoken to. I know you've spoken to corporations. I know that you were a very highlighted speaker at a couple of our conventions. What type of organizations do you work with?
I work a lot with like entertainment and leisure organizations.
Hospitality organizations.
Yeah, a lot of hospitality. Yeah. I have, again, you know, I'm on this committee with the Rangers. I've also had the same role with Dallas Cowboys for AT&T Stadium. I was blessed to be included in a group of individuals, professionals with disabilities, to give some guidance on that. I have worked with the U.S. government, the USDA, and the Department of Education before. I've worked with American Airlines. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. And hopefully our audience is going to say, okay, yes, you know, we want to touch base with Donna, because there's applications in every organization, every industry out there.
Yeah, and I mean, I've worked
no matter where.
Right, and I've worked with small business owners too. So
yes, yes. Okay, so I've got to talk about this body down by my right side. Like I said before, I don't usually have my guests here on the floor. But next to me, for those of you that can't see, is Donna's service dog. Her name is Wella. Donna, what do you want people to know about this wonderful, wonderful four-legged furry friend down here?
She is really amazing. She has, getting her was one of the best decisions I have ever made. One of the most important things is please don't interact with her when she's working. It's kind of like when you're on the freeway and you're trying to get off at your exit and somebody's trying to talk to you. You know, ordinarily, think of it as driving. If she's got her, what I call her work clothes on, meaning if she's in harness, just the thing about it is she's such a people dog and she's so friendly. She'll walk up to you and wag, but she'd rather party than work, just like we all would, you know. So, and even though you may be that driver who would ordinarily be driving down the street with the radio blaring and the top down, if you're on the freeway and you're trying to get off at your exit, that car may be silent. And, you know, so same kind of thing with her. You know, I just tell people if her harness is on, she's working.
She's working.
If
that's right.
You know, if it's not, she's ready to party.
Ready to party, and she parties well.
Oh, she does party well. Absolutely. She's got a little FOMO, you know. She's
okay. All right, so let's talk about your programs, because I know that you offer some very unique and different programs. Your keynote, Perceptions of Disability, very quickly, kind of tell me about that keynote and what it's about.
I do kind of try to take you inside what it's like to have a disability a little bit, and try to lead people through the experience, give them several different scenarios that might apply to their own industry.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, and depending on the time, you know, I give a little bit of my own perspective, from what I've experienced too.
Great. And you also have a workshop. You
I
have
do.
a workshop that people can take part of. Tell me about that, please.
Donna Mack's Accessibility Hacks.
I love it.
And
repeat that for me.
Donna Mack's Accessibility Hacks. And it's basically, it's kind of like you took the keynote and really stretched it out and got more specific. And I give you tips and tricks and try to give you some low cost measures to, again, making your business or your industry more consumer friendly or more employee friendly to individuals with disabilities.
Right.
So
that's great. And you also have a special offering for our NSA podcast guest today and in the near future here that's available right now, which is the website accessibility assessment.
Right.
Tell me about that very quickly.
Yeah, I am offering a discount, a significant discount off those services for small business owners, solopreneurs and the like. I will assess your website to see how accessible it is, and I'm not just going to say this part's not accessible. I will give you links and make suggestions on what kind of changes your webmaster can implement to make the site more accessible. And yeah, that's wonderful. That's a great tool. Okay, that's a wonderful thing. So your contact information, if people want to reach out to you and find out more about you, what's your email? My email is donna@disabilitydiplomat.com. Okay, donna@disabilitydiplomat.com. And website? Is disabilitydiplomat.com. You should see the offer there for the web accessibility assessment. And if you don't, just email me, and the code for the discount is NSA. NSA, I love that. Yeah. NSA is the code for the discount. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. This has been such a very special and fascinating and encouraging interview. I've just loved it. Me too. If there's, Donna, if there's something you want to leave our audience with, if there's some words of wisdom or something you want our listeners today to remember, what is it? We are not our bodies. And for those of you who are starting to see the gray hairs and the crow's feet, we are not our bodies. And the disability community is the largest minority group, largest, most underrepresented minority group in our country, in the country, in developing nations. And you can feel free to join us at any time. And as a matter of fact, you will all join us eventually. If you don't die first. That's so true. Yeah, I mean, disability is part of just the continuum of human experience. And so if it doesn't touch you, it's going to touch somebody you love. So again, invest in disability access. And that's wonderful. Yeah. And change our perceptions of disability. That's right. And we are not our bodies. I love that. I love that. You've been wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Wella. I can't hug you right now, but thank you. And Donna, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thanks, Betty. I enjoyed it. And to everybody out there, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you being with us. Remember, it's all about powering up to be better, to be stronger, to be faster. Power up. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Great job. Give me a high five. Ooh. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Power Up with NSA North Texas. To find out more about today's guest or NSA North Texas, visit www.speaker.org. To find out more about Power Up, visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/groups/NSA North Texas. And to find out more about Betty, visit www.bettycoffeepresents.com.